I have always dreamed of playing Corey in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park. I think that Barefoot in the Park is one of the best rom-com plays because of the weird, bizarre, yet loving relationship between the two main characters, Corey and Paul. When I was younger, my mom actually played Corey in a production of Barefoot in the Park at our community theater down the street. I remember seeing her and thinking that she was just like some celebrity, and I wanted to play Corey too. Getting the chance to play Corey makes me feel closer to my mom. I promise I will go into more detail, but what you need to know now is that Barefoot in the Park is a play about newlyweds who discover that unfortunately the honeymoon phase does not last forever. It is also important to note that I have reimagined the scene that we'll be doing as a 21st century video call. Obviously, Preston and I are unable to rehearse in person, but prior to everything happening, we had put in quite a bit of time blocking and staging the scenes while we were together. Originally, I was planning on doing 3 of the scenes. I decided to just focus on this one scene because it translated the best to video. I hope that you're all able to suspend your disbelief just a little to believe the reality of this scene. Corey and Paul are obviously married, but they are just in separate locations in this scene. I hope you all enjoy! Hi everyone, my name is Corey Bratter. I love Paul so much. We honeymooned for 6 days at the plaza and it was truly magic. We just got this 1-room apartment. It's on the top floor of a brownstone. If you were wondering the exact location, it's East 48th off of 3rd Avenue. I'm sorry it's a mess. I mean, we're kind of working on decorating, but we do have a skylight, which is by far my favorite part, and I know Paul loves it too. I'll break it down for you. So Mother came over to see the apartment and I was kind of shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting her. I really wanted her to come when everything was fully ready, but she knocked on the door and I had to answer. I was like, Mother, how are you? And I invited her to dinner on Friday. Of course, I started talking to her about some of our neighbors. We have one, Mr. Victor Velasco. He skis, climbs mountains. He's 58 years old. I mean, that's perfect for Mother. When Mr. Velasco came over to ask for a favor, I invited him to dinner with Mother. Paul was horrified. I mean, he kind of thinks that all of our neighbors are kind of weird. He was saying, Victor Velasco sleeps on rugs and your mother sleeps on a board. I was like, Paul, come on, it'll be so much fun. Victor fed us nishi. He said I could call him Victor. Nishi is eel. I think Paul was kind of grossed out by it, but I tried it. And he taught us a new song, and we had so much fun. I mean, seriously, it was the best night ever. Well, how about that, Mr. This is going to be a fiasco tonight? He's taking her all the way out to New Jersey at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what I call the complete gentleman. He hasn't even given a thought about how he's going to get home. Maybe he'll sleep over. Hey, Paul, do you think... No, not my mother. Boy, what a night! Paul? What's the matter, darling? Don't you feel well?
What a rotten thing to do. And to your own mother.
What?
Do you have any idea how she felt just now? Do you know what kind of a night this was for her?
It isn't over yet.
Well, you didn't see her sitting here 2 minutes ago. You were upstairs with that Hungarian Duncan Hines. Well, she was miserable. Her face was longer than that trip we took tonight.
She never said a thing to me.
That's right. She's too good a sport. She went the whole cockeyed way. Boy, oh boy, dragging a woman like that all the way out to the middle of the harbor for a bowl of sheep dip?
It was Greek bean soup. And at least she tasted it. She didn't jab at it with her knife, throwing out cute little epigrams like, ho, 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 I think there's someone in there.
That's right. That's right. At least I was honest about it. And you ate 2 bowls because you were showing off for Al Capone at the next table.
What are you so angry about, Paul?
I just told you. I felt terrible for your mother.
Why? Where is she at this very minute? Alone with probably the most attractive man she's ever met in her life. Don't tell me that doesn't beat hell out of hair curlers and the Late Late Show.
Oh, I can see it now. What a sparkling conversation. He's probably telling her about this chicken cacciatore he once cooked for the High Lama of Tibet, and she's sitting there shoveling pink pills in her mouth.
You never can tell what people talk about when they're alone.
I don't understand how you can be so unconcerned about this.
Unconcerned? I'm plenty concerned. Do you think I'm going to get one wink of sleep until that phone rings tomorrow? I'm scared to death for my mother. But I'm grateful there's finally the opportunity for something to be scared of. What I'm really concerned about is you.
Me? Me?
I'm beginning to wonder if you're capable of having a good time.
Oh, why? Because I like to wear my gloves in the winter?
No, because there isn't the least bit of adventure in you. Do you know what you are? You're a watcher. There are watchers in this world, and there are doers, and the watchers sit around watching the doers do. Well, tonight you watched, and I did.
Yeah, well, it was harder to watch what you did than it was for you to do what I was watching.
You won't let your hair down for a minute? You couldn't even relax for one night. Boy, Paul, sometimes you act like um,
What? A stuffed shirt?
I didn't say that.
That's what you were implying.
That's what you're anticipating. I didn't say you're a stuffed shirt, but you are extremely proper and dignified.
I'm proper and dignified. When? When was I proper and dignified?
All right. The other night at Delfino's, you were drunk, right?
Right. I was stoned.
There you are. I didn't know it until you told me in the morning. You're a funny kind of drunk, Paul. You just sat there looking unhappy and watching your coat.
I was watching my coat because I saw someone else watching my coat. Look, if you want, I'll get drunk for you sometime. Show you a real slob, make your hair stand on end.
It isn't necessary.
Do you know, in PJ Clark's last New Year's Eve, I punched an old woman? Don't tell me about drunks.
All right, Paul.
Well, when else? When else was I proper and dignified?
Always. You're always dressed right. You always look right. You always say the right things. You're very close to being perfect.
That's a rotten thing to say.
I have never seen you without a jacket on. Before we were married, I was sure you slept with a tie.
No, just very formal sleeps.
You can't even walk into the candy store and ask the lady for a Tootsie Roll. You've got to go up to the counter and point at it and say, "I'll have that thing in the brown and white wrapper."
That's ridiculous.
And you're not. That's just the trouble. Like Thursday night, you wouldn't walk barefoot with me in Washington Square Park. Why not?
Very simple answer. It was 17 degrees.
Exactly. That's very sensible and logical. Except it isn't any fun.
You know, maybe I am too proper and dignified for you. Maybe you would have been happier with someone a little more colorful or flamboyant, like the geek.
Well, he'd be a lot more laughs than a stuffed shirt.
Oh, I thought you said I wasn't.
Well, you are now.
I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to listen. I've got a case in court in the morning.
Where are you going?
To sleep.
Now? How can you sleep now?
I'm going to close my eyes and count Nietzsche's. Good night.
You can't go to sleep now. We're having a fight.
You have the fight. And when you're through, turn off the light.
Oh, that gets me insane. You can even control your emotions.
Look, I'm just as upset as you are. But when I get hungry, I eat. And when I get tired, I sleep. You eat and sleep too. Don't deny it. I've seen you.
Not in the middle of a crisis.
What crisis? We're just yelling a little.
You don't consider this a crisis? Our whole marriage hangs in the balance.
It does? When did that happen?
Just now. It's suddenly very clear that you and I have absolutely nothing in common.
Why? Because I won't walk barefoot in the park with you in winter? You haven't got a case, Corey. Adultery, yes. Cold feet, no.
Don't oversimplify this. I'm angry. Can't you see that?
Corey, it's 2:15. If I can fall asleep in about half an hour, I can get 5 hours sleep. I'll call you from court tomorrow and we'll fight over the phone.
You will not go to sleep now. You will stay here and fight to save our marriage.
If our marriage hinges on breeding fish balls and poofla-poo pie, it's not worth saving.
You won't discuss it. You're afraid to discuss it. I married a coward. I hate you. I really, really hate you.
Corey, there's one thing I've learned in court. When you're tired and angry, you may say something that you'll soon regret. I am now tired and angry.
And a coward.
And now I will say something that I will soon regret. Okay, Corey, maybe you're right. Maybe we have nothing in common. Maybe we rush into this whole marriage thing a little too fast. Maybe love isn't enough. Maybe two people should have to take more than just a blood test. Maybe they should be checked for common sense, understanding, and emotional maturity.
All right. Why don't you get it passed in the Supreme Court? Only those couples bearing a letter from their psychiatrists proving they're well-adjusted will be permitted to be married.
You're impossible.
You're unbearable.
You belong in a nursery school.
It's a lot more fun than the home for the fuddy-duddies. I don't want you near me ever again.
Oh, okay, wait a minute, Corey.
Not when you feel this way.
Not when I feel what way?
The way you feel about me.
Corey, you're hysterical.
I am not hysterical. I know exactly what I'm saying. It's no good between us, Paul. It never will be again.
Holy cow.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cry.
Oh, for Pete's sake, cry. Go ahead and cry.
Don't you tell me when to cry. I'll cry when I want to cry. And I'm not going to have my cry until you're out of this apartment.
What do you mean, out of this apartment?
Well, you certainly don't think we're going to live here together, do you, after tonight?
Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. I want a divorce.
A divorce? What?
I'm sorry, Paul. I can't discuss it anymore. Good night.
Where are you going?
To bed.
Well, you can't, not now.
You did before.
That was in the middle of a fight. This is in the middle of a divorce.
I can't talk to you when you're hysterical. Good night.
I want to know why you want a divorce.
I told you why. Because you and I have absolutely nothing in common.
Well, what about those 6 days at the plaza?
6 days does not a week make.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means. I just want a divorce.
You know, I think you really mean it.
I do.
You mean every time we have a little fight, you're going to want a divorce?
There isn't going to be any more little fights. This is it, Paul. This is the end. Good night.
You're serious.
Dead serious.
You mean the whole thing, like with Going to court, signing papers, shaking hands, goodbye, finished, forever, divorced.
That's what I mean.
I see. Well, I guess there's nothing left to be said.
I can't sleep until this thing is settled.
Well, it may take 3 months. Do you want to at least take a nap?
You don't have to get snippy.
Well, damn it, I'm sorry, but when I plan vacations, I'm happy. And when I plan divorces, I'm snippy. All right. You want to plan this thing? Plan it. Let's see. Do you want a quick divorce or a slow, painful one?
You can try acting civilized.
Okay, I'll be civilized, but charm you're not going to get. There's a lot of legal and technical details to go through.
Can't you do all that? I don't know anything about legal things.
Oh, I see. Now I'm the doer and you're the watcher. Right? Huh? Right? Right? Isn't that right, Corey?
So this is what you're really like?
Yes. Yes.
All right, what do I have to do?
First of all, what grounds?
Grounds?
That's right, grounds. What is your reason for divorcing me? And remember, my failure to appreciate Nietzsche's will only hold up in a Russian court.
You're a scream, Paul. Why weren't you funny when we were happy?
Okay, how about incompatible?
Fine. Are you through with me?
Not just yet. What about the financial settlement?
I don't want a thing.
Oh, but you're entitled to it. Alimony, property. Supposing I just pay your rent. Let's see, 75, 63 a month, is it?
Haha.
And you can have all the furniture and wedding gifts. I just like to keep my clothes.
I hardly expected bitterness from you.
I'm not bitter. That's a statement of fact. You're always wearing my pajamas and slippers.
Only after you go to work.
Why?
Because I like the way they... Never mind, it's stupid. I'll sign over your pajamas and slippers.
If you'd like, you can visit them once a month.
That's bitter.
You're damn right it is.
You have no right to be bitter.
Don't tell me when to be bitter.
Things just didn't work out.
They sure as hell didn't.
You can't say we didn't try.
Almost a whole 2 weeks.
It's better than finding out in 2 years.
Or 20.
Or 50.
Lucky, aren't we?
We're the luckiest people in the whole world.
I thought you said you weren't going to cry.
Well, I am. I'm going to have the biggest cry I ever had in my life. And I'm going to enjoy it. Good night, Paul. I mean, goodbye.
6 days does not a week make.